The market of chains, the city of Thronax Prime, never slept. Lights blinked from every tower, and the streets below were filled with noise, smoke, and the scent of burned metal. Deep in the lower district, behind the black market gates, was a place called the auction pit. Here everything had a price, even living beings. In the center of the pit stood a metal cage, rough and cold. Inside, an alien girl sat with her knees pulled to her chest. Her skin was a soft shade of blue, almost glowing under the dim lights. Long white hair fell over her shoulders. Her wrists were locked in metal cuffs, and a thick chain tied her to the floor. She was silent. Her golden eyes watched every movement around her. Above her cage, a red sign flashed. Lot number 340. Rare female specimen. Opening bid, 500 credits. The auctioneer was a tall, rough-skinned alien with 6 fingers and glowing yellow eyes. He stood on a raised platform and shouted into a speaker, "Come, come! Look at this rare prize found near the edge of the fallen moons. Untouched, obedient, and beautiful. Who will make the first bid?" The crowd was a mix of creatures, some tall and furry, others short and armored. Most of them wore heavy robes and expensive jewelry. Some looked bored, others amused. Not one of them looked at the girl with kindness. The girl didn't cry. She didn't speak. She had learned that silence was her only protection. 500, said a thick voice from the back. 550, another shouted. The numbers rose slowly, each voice colder than the last. No one asked who she was. No one asked what she needed. Until a quiet voice said, "Stop." The crowd turned. A human had stepped forward. He wore a long coat covered in travel dust, a simple black shirt underneath, worn boots, and a thin scar on his cheek. His face was calm, but his eyes burned with something sharp. Anger? No. Something deeper. Something dangerous. "This isn't right," the human said. The auctioneer laughed. "New here, human? It's the law. She was caught outside the zone. She's unclaimed. She belongs to the highest bidder." The human walked closer to the cage. The crowd stepped back, watching with curious eyes. He knelt beside the bars and looked at the girl. Her eyes met his for only a second before she looked away. "Can you stand?" he asked her gently. She didn't answer. "You don't have the money to buy her," the auctioneer said with a smirk. "Walk away, traveler." But the human didn't move. Instead, he reached into his coat and pulled out a small silver coin. It shimmered with strange symbols. The crowd gasped. The auctioneer's smile faded. "Where did you get that?" "From someone who said life has more value than credits," the human replied. He tossed the coin onto the platform. "That should be enough to end this." The auctioneer stared at it, torn between greed and fear. The human turned back to the girl. He took a small tool from his belt and carefully touched the lock on her chain. It clicked open, slowly, gently. He helped her stand. "You're safe now," he said softly. But the peace didn't last. A roar came from behind. One of the angry bidders pushed through the crowd. "You can't take her. She was mine." The human stood between the girl and the mob. His hand hovered near the pulse weapon on his belt. "I suggest you step back." "Or what?" "Or you'll find out why no one follows me twice." The bidder stopped. Something in the human's voice made even the boldest warrior freeze. The auctioneer stepped forward. "You'll regret this. She's not worth the fight." The human smiled, not kindly. "She's worth more than all of you." He turned, guiding the girl through the stunned crowd. No one moved, no one dared. As they stepped out of the auction pit and into the neon streets, the girl looked up at him. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Why did you help me?" He glanced down. "Because no one else would." The night swallowed them both, but something had changed. The market of chains had lost a piece of its darkness, and the human had made a powerful enemy, hunted in the neon maze. The girl's legs trembled as she walked beside the human. Her chains were gone, but the cold memory of them still clung to her skin. Every step outside the auction pit felt like she was stepping on clouds made of glass, light, unsure, and sharp. They passed glowing signs in alien languages, loud bars, filled with music, and streets crawling with drunk traders and hunters. But the human kept walking with purpose, never turning back, his hand always close to the weapon on his hip. "What's your name?" he asked without looking. She hesitated. Her voice was soft, dry. "Liari," he nodded. "I'm Jace." A sudden sound behind them, a clank of boots, a sharp shout. Jace's eyes narrowed. He gently pushed Liari behind him and turned a corner, into a narrow alley lit by flickering red lamps. "They're following," he whispered. "Who?" Liari asked. "Slavers. Bounty hunters. Maybe worse?" Liari's heart pounded. "They want me back? They want the coin I used to buy you, and maybe what you are." "What I am?" she asked, confused. Jace didn't answer. He kept moving, fast and careful. Soon they reached a rusted door at the end of the alley. Jace knocked twice, paused, then once more. A metallic eye popped out from the wall, scanned him, then slid back in. The door opened with a loud groan. Inside was a small workshop, filled with strange machines and sparks flying from a workbench. A small alien girl with forearms and goggles looked up. "You brought trouble again, Jace." "Only a little this time, Fix," Jace said. "We need shelter." Fix raised her goggles. "Is she the one from the auction?" Liari stepped in slowly, eyes darting around. Fix whistled. "Bad move. You crossed the Zamoran Syndicate." "I know," Jace replied, locking the door behind him. "But she needed out." "Then you better hope she's worth it." Jace looked at Liari. "She is." They stayed there for hours. Jace and Fix spoke quietly in the corner while Liari rested on a soft bench. She had never been treated kindly before. She didn't understand Jace. He wasn't like others. He didn't treat her like property. He didn't look at her with hunger or cruelty, only with calm eyes. But then the wall shook. A loud blast hit the outer wall. "They found us," Fix said, grabbing a blaster. "How?" Jace growled. "They've got tech. Scanners, drones, trackers, probably tagged her in the cage." Liari touched her neck. There, beneath her skin near the collarbone, she felt it. A tiny bump. "They marked me," she whispered. Jace walked over and gently checked. "Yeah, small implant. They always use these." "Take it out," Liari said. Fix looked unsure. "That's risky. It's near a nerve." Jace stared into Liari's eyes. "Can you handle pain?" She nodded. "I've felt worse. Within minutes." Jace had the tools ready. Liari bit down on a cloth while Fix held a dim light over her. Jace worked fast and careful, his hands steady. She didn't scream, didn't cry, just clenched her fists as he removed the tiny metal chip and dropped it into a jar. "It's done," Jace said, wiping the sweat from his brow. They threw the tracker into a power converter and blasted it, sending false signals across the city. But time was running out. "We can't stay here," Fix warned. "The Syndicate doesn't stop. Not for humans. Not for anyone." "I have a place," Jace said. "Off-world. A ship hidden on the upper decks." "How will we get there?" Liari asked. "Through the neon maze," Jace replied. Fix's eyes widened. "That place eats people alive. Then let's not." "Get eaten," Jace said. They packed supplies, small rations, medkits, and weapons. Liari grabbed a cloak to hide her glow. Jace gave her his extra knife. "Just in case," he said. The neon maze was a zone between the upper and lower cities. It was full of broken lights, broken rules, and broken people. The perfect place to hide, or get lost forever. They moved fast through the shadows, every street changing like a puzzle. Stairs led nowhere. Doors moved. Illusions danced on the walls. "Stay close," Jace whispered. But the danger wasn't the maze. It was what followed them. Two silent shadows dropped from the rooftops. Syndicate assassins. Jace spun, blaster raised. "Run!" he shouted to Liari. But she didn't run. She turned, eyes glowing brighter, and screamed. Not with her voice, but with something deeper, something ancient. The sound rippled through the air like a wave. The assassins fell to their knees, clutching their heads. Jace's mouth dropped open. "You're not just anyone," he said. You're one of them. Layari fell to the ground, weak from the energy blast. What am I? She whispered. Jace looked at her with awe. You're not just valuable to them, you're dangerous to them. From the shadows, more enemies approached. They were running out of time. Jace picked her up in his arms. We'll find the truth later, he said. Right now, we survive. And, with that they vanished into the maze, but somewhere in the city a new order had been given. The girl is not to be sold anymore. She is to be captured, or killed. The price of freedom rain began to fall on Thronax Prime. Not real rain, just the recycled mist that spilled from the cooling towers above the city. It washed over the streets, cleaning nothing, hiding everything. Jace walked fast, his boots splashing in shallow puddles. Layari stayed close behind, wrapped in a dark cloak. Her chains were gone, but her wrists still hurt. Her eyes darted to every sound, every shadow. They had escaped the auction pit. For now. But they were not safe. Where are we going? Layari asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. Someplace quiet. Someplace they won't look first, Jace said. They? She asked. Slavers, the syndicate, bounty hunters, anyone who saw that coin I used. He glanced at her. Or anyone who wants to own you again. Layari lowered her head. I don't want to be owned. You won't be, Jace said. Not while I breathe. They moved through a maze of alleys past broken signs and sleeping junkers. Strange creatures whispered in the dark, some begging, others watching. No one tried to stop them. Yet, finally, Jace led her into a long, abandoned structure. It looked like an old station hub. Metal walls, cracked lights, wires hanging like vines. He sealed the door behind them and placed a silent alarm near the frame. This used to be a resistance checkpoint, Jace said, lighting a small lamp. Nobody's used it in years. Layari looked around. Old crates, dusty tools, a cot that had seen better days. It wasn't home. But it was the first place where no one stared at her like she was a thing. You're not just a slave, are you? Jace asked softly, pouring water into a metal cup and handing it to her. Layari blinked. What do you mean? They don't auction people like you without reason. The way the crowd looked at you, the way the syndicate got nervous. That wasn't just greed. It was fear. Layari hesitated. Then she touched the skin near her collarbone. I heard them once. Before they caged me, they said I'm from the Alari bloodline. Jace froze. Alari? Layari nodded. But I don't know what that means. Jace stood up, his face pale. It means the syndicate just made a mistake. A big one. Why? She asked. Because the Alari aren't extinct. They're hidden. Powerful. Part of the old blood. Beings who could control light, energy, even memory. They were hunted centuries ago by empires afraid of them. But I don't know how to do any of that, Layari said. Doesn't matter. To the wrong people, just your blood is a weapon. A sharp ping echoed from the alarm device. Someone was outside. Jace killed the light and whispered, Stay down. They crouched in silence. Footsteps moved past the door. Slow, heavy, deliberate. A voice spoke, filtered through a translator. We know you're in there. Hand over the girl and we'll let you live. Jace didn't move, didn't speak. Layari trembled, her heart racing, but something inside her stirred, something cold and ancient. I don't want anyone to die because of me, she said. Then don't get caught, Jace replied, pulling a small disc from his coat and placing it on the wall. It beeped once, then exploded. A side panel burst open, revealing a hidden passage. Move, he shouted. They slipped into the dark corridor just as the door was blasted off its hinges. Light flooded the room. Gunfire followed. They ran. The passage twisted downward into the underbelly of the city. Pipes hissed. Metal groaned. How far? Layari asked, gasping for breath. Down to the lift station. I have a contact there. She can get us off-world. And then what? We figure out who you really are. They reached the lift platform. A massive cargo elevator groaned as it lowered from above. Flickering lights revealed more shadows, not alone. 3 syndicate hunters stood between them and the lift. One was tall and robotic, with a plasma blade for an arm. One had sharp eyes and thin armor, fast and cruel. The last, bigger than both, held a chain leash, smiling. "Bring her," the large one said, "or we take her from your bones." Jace raised his weapon. "You can try." Before the first shot, Liari stepped forward. The syndicate hesitated. Her eyes had changed. They glowed brighter now, gold spilling into the air like mist. Then everything shook. A wave of invisible force burst from her body, knocking the hunters off their feet. Sparks flew. Lights shattered. Liari screamed, not in fear, but in release. Jace pulled her back as the lift doors opened. They jumped inside, slamming the control. The lift rocketed upward. Liari collapsed, weak. Jace held her. I didn't know I could do that," she said. "You're not a slave," Jace whispered. "You're a storm." They reached the upper dock. Jace's contact, a grizzled pilot named Tana, was already warming up a stealth cruiser. "You brought heat," she said, eyeing Liari. "Who's the girl?" "She's not a girl," Jace said. "She's hope." As the ship lifted into the stars, Thronax Prime burned behind them, sirens, lights, and fire. And on a distant moon, a council of old beings opened a long-forgotten vault. Inside, glowing symbols flickered to life. An Ilari has awakened. Echoes from the bloodline, the stars were quiet above. The stealth cruiser glided through black space, leaving behind the chaos of Thronax Prime. Inside the ship, the engines purred like a sleeping beast. Jace stood in the cockpit with Tana, watching the radar. "No signs of pursuit yet," Tana said, fingers dancing over glowing controls. "But that was a mess back there." "They'll come," Jace replied. "Syndicate always comes, especially when you take something they weren't ready to lose." He glanced over his shoulder. Liari was resting in the back cabin. Not sleeping. Just silent. Her eyes were open, staring at the ceiling. Jace had seen that look before, in soldiers, survivors, broken people. But she wasn't broken. She was becoming something else. Jace walked back, kneeling beside her bed. "You okay?" She nodded slowly. "I saw something, when the power burst from me." "What did you see?" "A city, made of glass, people with eyes like mine, towers that floated in the sky. I saw fire and silence. I think they were all dying." "Memories?" Jace asked. Maybe visions. I don't know." She looked at him. "It felt real, like I was there before, like I lived it." Jace placed a hand on her shoulder. "Your people left a deep scar in the galaxy. If those visions are real, you might be the key to healing or reopening it." Liari whispered, "What if I'm not ready?" "No one ever is," he said. "But that doesn't matter. You are what you are." Suddenly alarms rang in the cockpit. "Incoming signal," Tana shouted. Jace ran forward. "Who is it?" "Can't tell. No ID tag. But it's broadcasting an old resistance code. One only High Command knew." "Put it through," Jace said. The screen flickered. A hooded face appeared. Not human. Not quite alien either. Something in between. Familiar and strange. "You have her," the figure said. "The girl." "Who are you?" Jace asked. "We are the Hollow Council. Keep her alive. We are coming." The screen cut off. Jace stared at the dark glass. "Who the hell are the Hollow Council?" Tana asked. "I've only heard myths," Jace said. "They were protectors of ancient bloodlines, like Liari's. They vanished centuries ago." "Great," Tana muttered. "First slavers, now ghosts." Before Jace could answer, the ship rocked hard. "Impact on hull!" Tana shouted. The lights flickered. Emergency red filled the cabin. "Boarding party," she growled. They attached a leech pod to the cargo bay. Jace grabbed his rifle. "Get us to manual control. Keep the ship stable." He sprinted toward the back, past the sleeping quarters to the loading hatch. The metal creaked. Something was cutting through the door. Layari appeared behind him. "I can help." "You need to stay back," Jace said. "No," she replied. "I'm tired of hiding." The door exploded inward. 5 armored figures stormed in. Black suits, visors, stun blades. Syndicate elites. They moved fast like machines. Jace fired 2 shots, taking down 1. Layari raised her hand. Light rippled from her skin like a wave. 2 attackers dropped, screaming, but the last one, a captain, charged forward, slashing at Jace. The blade hit Jace's arm. Blood spilled. Layari screamed. The lights shattered above. Energy burst from her body in a sudden shockwave. The last attacker was thrown back against the wall with a crack. Jace collapsed, holding his wound. "You saved me." Layari's eyes glowed brighter than ever. "I felt your pain. It pulled the power out of me." Tana's voice buzzed through the comm. "We've got more incoming. 2 fighter ships. We need to jump now." Jace limped forward. "Layari, come with me." But she stood still, staring at the fallen bodies. "They knew me," she said. "One of them whispered my name before he died." "What?" Jace froze. He said, "Forgive us, Lady of the Light." Jace looked at the corpses. These weren't bounty hunters, they were guardians. "Guardians of what?" she asked. Jace touched her hand. "You." They reached the cockpit just as Tana powered up the jump drive. "Coordinates?" she asked. "Anywhere quiet," Jace said. "We need time." They jumped. Space twisted around them, folding like cloth. Then, silence. The ship floated in the orbit of a dead planet. Black seas. Broken moons. No life. Tana set the ship to standby and stepped out. "I'll patch Jace's arm. You 2 talk." Jace sat down, wincing. "We've got more questions than answers." Layari nodded. "I'm remembering more. Every time I use the power, I see pieces." "What did you see this time?" "A child. A girl. Glowing like me. Trapped in a crystal. And a voice saying, 'The bloodline is not broken. It sleeps.'" Jace stared at her. "Maybe I'm not the only one," she said. Before they could speak more, the ship's sensors beeped. Not a threat. Not an enemy. A message. Old repeating. Tana read it out loud. "To the one who awakens. Come to the vault of glass. Your truth waits beneath the frozen sands." "That's real?" Jace asked. "It's real," Layari whispered. "I saw it in my vision." "Then we're going," Jace said. "We'll find the vault. We'll find the truth." Outside the window, the dead planet turned slowly. Its surface began to glow, just barely, as if something beneath it had begun to wake up. The vault of glass. The dead planet had no name. Its skies were black, its seas frozen, and its surface cracked like old bone. But deep beneath the ice, something pulsed. Something old. Something waiting. Jace tightened his coat as the ramp of the ship opened. Cold wind blew into his face, dry and sharp. Beside him, Layari stepped down slowly, her hood up, her golden eyes scanning the horizon. "You're sure this is the place?" he asked. "I saw it in my dream," she said. "This desert, this sky. It was calling me." Tana stayed behind to guard the ship. "I'll keep the engines warm and my blaster ready. Yell if something tries to eat you." They walked for hours across the wasteland. Ruins rose in the distance, white towers, broken and half buried in sand. Strange symbols covered the stones, glowing faintly under the dim light of the shattered moons. As they approached the largest ruin, Layari stopped. "Here," she said. A circular door stood before them, smooth and silver, untouched by time. At its center was a slot shaped like a hand, but not human. Layari looked at Jace. "It's me." She placed her hand on the door. Nothing happened. But then, light crawled from her fingers, spreading across the surface like frost. The door groaned and twisted open with a hiss. Beyond it, stairs spiraled down into darkness. They entered. The air inside was warm, filled with soft humming. Light glowed from the walls, showing smooth silver corridors and statues of tall figures with flowing robes and glowing eyes. "Hey, Larry," Jace whispered. "My people," Liari said, her voice shaking. At the heart of the vault, they found a chamber. Crystals floated in the air, circling a massive sphere of glowing liquid. The walls shimmered with moving images, memories trapped in time. As Liari stepped inside, the sphere reacted. Images burst into the air, a city in flames, a child hidden in a crystal, a woman, glowing, powerful, facing an army. Then a voice echoed through the room. Not a recording, not a machine, a consciousness. "You have returned, child of the light." Liari looked around. "Who are you?" "We are what remains. Fragments of Alari wisdom. We preserved your line when all others fell." "Why me?" she asked. "Because your blood still sings with power. You are the key to the awakening." Jace stepped forward. "Awakening of what?" "Of the Alari, of the truth, of the war, yet to come." "What war?" Liari asked. "The galaxy is dying. The syndicates, the hunters, the empires, they are consuming it piece by piece. Only the old power can stop what's coming." The light dimmed. The images vanished. Then the ground shook. Alarms screamed. "We're not alone," Jace growled. They rushed back up the spiral stairs. Outside, the sky had changed. Ships hovered in the air, dark and sharp. A figure stepped out from the largest one. Liari's eyes widened. "Vix?" The four-armed alien girl, the mechanic who once helped them hide, now wore black armor. Her goggles were gone. Her smile was cold. "You led us right to it," Vix said. "Thank you, Liari." "Your syndicate?" Jace asked. "Worse," Vix replied. "I work for the Hollow Council. The ones who want her alive, but not free." "You betrayed us," Liari said, stepping back. "You don't understand," Vix said. "You're not a person, you're a weapon, and weapons don't get to choose." Jace raised his blaster. Before he could fire, a beam of red energy shot from the sky, knocking him down. Liari screamed and ran to him. He was alive, but hurt. Vix stepped closer. "Come quietly, Liari, or he dies next." Liari stood. Her cloak fell. Light burned from her skin. But this time it didn't explode. It shaped. It danced. The sand lifted around her feet. The sky pulsed. Vix took a step back. "You don't control me," Liari said. "Not anymore." A wave of energy exploded outward, but instead of destruction, it created. A shield of glowing light surrounded her and Jace. Liari lifted him gently. They began to rise, floating upward, toward the ship. Tana shouted from the ramp, "Get in, now!" Blaster fire lit the air. Vix screamed, "Don't let her escape." But it was too late. Liari's power bent space like a curtain. In one burst of light, they vanished, reappearing inside the ship. Jace collapsed, breathing hard. Liari held his hand. "You're safe," she whispered. He smiled. "You saved me again." Outside, Vix stared into the sky, her face dark. "The girl has awakened," she muttered. "And now? The galaxy will burn." The message from the dying world. The ship flew through silent space. Tana piloted with steady hands. Her eyes scanned, the stars always watching for shadows. Behind her, Jace lay in the medical bay. His wound was deep, but he had survived. Again. Liari sat beside him, her hands glowing with a gentle light. She was healing him. Not with tech, not with medicine, with something older. His eyes fluttered open. He looked at her and smiled weakly. "You glow when you're worried." She smiled. "Then I must glow a lot." "You saved us," he whispered. "Again." "You keep putting yourself between me and danger," she replied. "So I guess we're even." He laughed softly. "We're not even close to even," A soft chime echoed through the ship. Tana called out, "We just got pinged by a satellite near the Virgin Belt. Automated distress signal." Jace sat up, groaning. "Any survivors?" "Just one signal. Very weak. Coming from a planet listed as uninhabited. But there's something strange about the data." Liari joined Tana in the cockpit. The screen showed a red planet. Cracked, dry, dying. Orbiting it was a satellite barely holding together. "Know that symbol," Liari said. "It was on one of the statues in the vault." "You think it's a message for you?" Jace asked, limping in behind her. "I think it's a warning," she replied. They set course. As they neared the planet, a strange energy pulsed through the ship. Systems flickered. Lights dimmed. "We're being scanned," Tana said. "Not by the satellite. By something inside the planet." "Alive?" Jace asked. "Or very, very old," she said. They landed near the signal source, a collapsed temple built into a cliffside. The air was dry and heavy. As they entered the ruins, symbols lit up beneath Liari's feet. A voice echoed, deep and hollow. "The blood returns." Inside the main chamber, they found a chamber full of stasis pods, most broken. One still glowed. Inside floated an alien, a woman with skin like silver and hair that moved like smoke. Her eyes opened. She looked directly at Liari. "Daughter," she whispered. Liari's breath caught. "What?" The pod opened. The woman stepped out slowly. She was weak, her steps unsure, but her voice was clear. "I am Callus. Your mother." Jace blinked. "That's impossible." "The Alari preserved me before the fall," Callus said. "So one day when the stars were safe, I could awaken and find you." Liari's voice shook. "I don't remember you. You were hidden as a child. Your power was too great. The syndicates wanted you, so the elders scattered the bloodline. I was supposed to watch from afar, but I failed." Callus touched her daughter's face. "But now you're here, and your light. It's stronger than mine ever was." "We need answers," Jace said. The vault mentioned a war. A second fall. Callus nodded slowly. "Yes, it's already begun. The Hollow Council isn't just chasing you. They are preparing to erase what remains of the old light. They want a galaxy ruled by fear, by control, by silence." Liari stepped back. "Then we fight. You can't do it alone," Callus said. "You need the others." "Others?" "The other fragments of the Alari. Those who survived in hiding. Some don't even know who they are yet." "How do I find them?" Liari asked. Callus raised her hand and a small orb floated into the air. A map. Glowing. Changing. Pulsing. With signals. "Each light is a bloodline carrier," Callus said. "Go to them. Awaken them." A loud sound interrupted them. A crash of metal. They turned. A man stood at the temple entrance. Tall, armored, human. Jace froze. "No," he whispered. "It can't be." The man removed his helmet. His face was nearly identical to Jace's, but older. Colder. "Hello, brother," the man said. Liari looked between them. "You have a brother?" Jace stepped forward, rage in his eyes. "You died on Talvir. I saw your ship go down." "You saw what they wanted you to see," the man replied. "I've been with the Hollow Council since that day." "You joined them?" Jace growled. "After what they did to our home?" "They didn't destroy our home," the brother said. "The Alari did." Liari's glow dimmed. "What?" "The old power became a weapon," he said. "My brother believes in saving you. I believe in stopping the next war before it starts." He raised his hand. Soldiers stepped into the chamber behind him, armed, ready. "Give her to us," he said, "and I'll let you live." "You're a liar," Jace spat. "I'm a realist. You're a traitor. And you're still a fool." Callus stepped forward, power rising around her. "You will not touch her." The brother lifted a device and pressed it. An explosion rocked the chamber. Part of the ceiling collapsed. Jace tackled Liari, shielding her from falling stone. Callus stood against the soldier's light exploding from her body. "Run!" she shouted. Jace pulled Lyari up and dragged her through the smoke. Behind them, Callus faced the soldiers, fighting like a star reborn. They reached the ship. Tana had already powered the engines. "Go!" Jace shouted. They lifted off as fire, rained behind them. Lyari stared at the burning ruins. "She stayed behind. She saved us," Jace said. Again. In space, the orb map floated between them. Dozens of lights blinked, faint, but alive. "We find them," Lyari said. "How we awaken them." "And we stop your brother," Tana added. Jace stared out the window. "No," he said quietly. "We end him. Roots of the Forgotten Moon." The jungle moon of Velshara was not on any common star map. It was hidden in a system surrounded by ion storms, gravity rips, and ancient defense satellites, ruins that still fired at passing ships. But Lyari's orb map pointed here, pulsing bright. One of the Aelari bloodlines was buried somewhere below the thick green clouds. "This place is cursed," Tana said, gripping the ship controls. "Everything here wants us dead." "Then we land quickly and leave quickly," Jace replied. "If we're lucky," Tana muttered. They landed deep in the jungle, where roots covered the land like armor and vines moved even without wind. Thick fog rolled around them, glowing faintly blue. Every tree was taller than a tower. The air smelled sweet and wrong. Jace stepped out first, blaster drawn. Lyari followed, the orb in her hand humming stronger with each step. "Someone's here," she said. "They're calling." "Where?" Jace asked. "Underground," Lyari said. As they pushed deeper into the forest, the jungle responded. Trees groaned, leaves hissed, the ground pulsed like a heartbeat. "Something's watching," Tana said, eyes scanning the branches. Then the first vine struck. It whipped from the darkness and coiled around Jace's leg, pulling him back hard. "Jace!" Lyari screamed. He fired his blaster, cutting the vine, but more came. Thick roots broke from the earth, lashing like snakes. Tana tossed a flash charge. It burst with white light, stunning the plants for a moment. "Run!" Jace shouted. They found a narrow tunnel hidden beneath a rock slab. Lyari pressed her hand to it. The stone melted into light. They dove inside as the jungle roared behind them. Inside was silence, cold, echoing silence. The tunnel led into a chamber carved from glowing stone. Vines covered the walls but didn't move here. At the center stood a crystal pod, half-buried, pulsing weakly. Inside it was a child, a boy, maybe 10, glowing faintly blue. His eyes closed, his hands clutching a broken pendant. "He's like me," Lyari whispered. "Is he alive?" Jace asked. "Barely." A soft whisper filled the chamber. Not from the boy, from the roots above. He was hidden, protected. But the forest is no longer safe. "Who said that?" Tana asked. The roots moved slowly, forming shapes, faces. "We are the tenders. We were given one task, protect the child, but the corruption grows. We are dying. Can we save him?" Lyari asked. "Only if you accept what you are." Lyari stepped toward the pod. "Tell me what to do. Give him your spark." "What does that mean?" Jace asked. "You are connected. Your blood holds light. His is fading. You must share it." "Will it hurt her?" Tana asked. "It may take her life." Jace grabbed Lyari's arm. "You can't. He's just a child," she said. "Alone, afraid, like I was. And you're everything now," Jace said. "You're the only one who can stop the council. If you die, then we lose," Tana finished. Lyari looked down at the pod. The boy inside trembled, even in sleep. "I won't let another one die in a cage," she said. She knelt, placed her hand on the crystal. Light poured from her skin. Slow, soft. The boy's eyes opened, blue and gold. He gasped. The crystal cracked. "It's working," Tana said. But then, Lyari screamed. Light was draining from her body, faster, deeper. Her knees hit the floor. Jace ran to her. "Stop! You're giving too much," the tenders whispered. She's binding him to her. He will live, but she will fade. Liari's voice was weak. I'm not afraid. The boy sat up inside the pod. He looked around, confused. Who are you? He asked. Liari smiled. Someone who won't let you be alone. And then the light returned to both of them. A wave of gold and blue filled the room. The vines lit up, the jungle above howled and fell silent. The tenders spoke one last time. The corruption is burned away. We sleep now. Forever. The roots turned to ash. Liari collapsed. Jace caught her. You're okay, he whispered. She opened her eyes. He's safe. The boy looked at her. I saw you in the dream, the girl of the light. What's your name? She asked. Sei, he said. Welcome back, Sei, she whispered. They returned to the ship, carrying the boy. Tana looked back at the jungle. That place wasn't cursed. It was just tired. They lifted off. In space, the orb showed a new light. Sei's spark joined the others. More were waking. But as the ship flew forward, another signal reached them, encrypted. Urgent. Jace read it aloud. He's coming, your brother. He knows where the next one is, and this time, he won't ask. Liari looked at Sai, curled up asleep near the wall. We protect him, no matter what, she said. Jace nodded. We protect each other, he said. Last light of the A-layer space shimmered with distant stars, but the tension on the ship was thick. Tana ran system checks. The engines were hot. Weapons primed. Fuel levels low. Jace stood by the window, staring out at the approaching fleet. Black, ships in tight formation. Leading them was a large vessel shaped like a blade, glowing red from its underbelly. His brother's ship. They're here, Tana said. Just like the message said. How long until they breach comms? Jace asked. Not long. Liari stood near the map orb, Sei at her side. Both glowed softly. Their Aelari power synced. The orb pulsed slowly, showing the next bloodline signal just one jump away, but they had no time to reach it. The Hollow Council had come, and they weren't coming to talk. The comms crackled. A familiar voice filled the room. Smooth. Cold. Cruel. Brother. Jace tensed. You've run far enough. You've stolen long enough. The girl. Give her to us. Or we take her from your ashes. Liari stepped forward. I'm not yours to take. His voice replied. You're not even alive. You're a memory. A spark that should have faded. We are the future. You are the danger. You're afraid of her, Jace said. You always were. No. I'm afraid of what she awakens. And then the signal ended. The enemy ships moved in. Tana shouted, Weapons hot. They're locking. Unevasive now, Jace commanded. The ship shook, blasts slamming into the shields. Liari held Sai, shielding him with her light. Get him to the back, Jace said. Protect him. I'm not hiding, Sai whispered. Liari looked down. This fight isn't yours. But it will be one day, he said. I want to be brave like you. She smiled. Then stay alive, and you will be. Tana pulled a sharp turn, dodging a missile. We can't outrun them for long. Then we don't, Jace said. We make a stand. Here? Tana asked. No, Liari said, stepping forward. We make it somewhere they won't expect. She touched the orb. It pulsed, then blinked rapidly. The next signal. The last Aelari. It was calling her. Strong. Bright. Can you jump us? Jace asked. Not through the block, Tana said. They're jamming every exit vector. Not all, Liari said, her eyes glowing brighter. I can bend the space myself. You what? Tana blinked. The vault showed me, Liari said. I'm not just the key, I am the gate. She placed her hands on the orb. Energy surged. The ship groaned. Space bent around them. Stars twisted like paint in water. Then, they vanished. They reappeared above a glowing planet. emerald oceans, golden continents. Energy storms lit the sky like lightning trapped in glass. Where are we? Jace asked. The heart world, Liari said. The cradle of my kind. They landed near a massive spire, half sunken in crystal. Inside, the last Aelari lay waiting, woman older than any Jace had seen, her body made of shifting starlight, her eyes closed. Liari stepped forward. Wake up, it's time. The woman opened her eyes slowly. Daughter of light, she said. You've come. The council is close. We have minutes, Liari said. We need you. The woman rose. I was the first. You are the last. Together, we can end the cycle. But outside, ships screamed through the clouds. Jace's brother landed hard, troops pouring from his vessel. No more warnings, no more deals. They're storming the spire, Tana shouted, blaster drawn. Then we hold the line, Jace said. The spire exploded in war. Troops clashed. Energy blasts lit the halls. Tana and Jace fought side by side. Say stayed hidden, whispering to the walls, somehow calming them. The crystal responded, growing barriers, shielding paths. The elder Aelari turned to Liari. Your power is ready. Unlock it. Fully. How? Liari asked. Don't pull from fear. Pull from love, from choice, from light. Liari stepped into the center of the room. The orb floated above her. The lights dimmed. She closed her eyes. Memories filled her. Pain, hope, Jace's face, Sai's hand, her mother's sacrifice. The light exploded from her chest. It wrapped the spire in gold. Outside, Jace's brother marched through the smoke. He saw the light and raised his weapon, but Jace blocked him. You'll go through me, he said. Gladly, his brother said. They clashed, fist to fist, blood to blood. Jace was fast, but his brother stronger. He slammed Jace into a wall. You lost the moment you chose her, he hissed. No, Jace said. I found something worth dying for. But before the killing blow fell, Liari appeared, no longer just a girl, a force of light and sky. Her hands reached out. The brother turned. No. A beam of memory struck him. Every life he had destroyed, every soul caged, every child stolen. He dropped his weapon, fell to his knees, and wept. You see now, Liari said. Not as punishment, as truth. He looked at her, broken. What have I done? It's not too late, she whispered. But behind him, a council agent raised a blade. Jace saw it, too far to stop. Liari raised her hand, light flared, the Aze blade turned to dust. The agent screamed and ran. The battle was over. The spire stood whole. The elder Aelari stepped forward. It is done. Liari turned to Jace, tears in her eyes. We're free now, she said. You made us free, Jace whispered. She looked at Sai, who smiled with eyes bright like hers. Then the orb floated one last time, glowing brighter than ever. All across the galaxy, lights began to appear. The other Aelari. Awakening. Weeks later, peace talks began. The Hollow Council disbanded. Their secrets spilled into the stars. The Aelari returned, not to rule, but to guide. Jace and Liari stood on a new station, orbiting a new world. Say trained beside them, learning to shape light like music. And in the quiet, Jace took Liari's hand. So, what now? He asked. She smiled. Now we build something better. Together.